Okay, part 3 of the Civil Rights Event series. Today I'm talking about the events that happened between 1964 and 1968. I'm going to fly through them, not going to go into masses of detail because again you should know all these events already. This is just to put them in time order. Obviously you should know about the events already, and if not, if any of these don't ring any bells, you should be revising, especially considering that the exams are only a couple of months away, Year 11. Right, now, first event that I'm going to talk about, that happens in 1964, June 1964, the Freedom Summer murders. Okay, so the Freedom Summer is all the way through the summer of 1964. The actual murders of the 3 Freedom Summer volunteers take place in June 1964. Following on from the Freedom Summer murders, just a month later, we get the Civil Rights Act of 1964, July 1964. So again, a key bit of legislation there. Now, as I say, I'm not going into massive detail in this video, I'm just flying through them, but I have put a link to 2 videos below. One that talks about the Civil Rights Act and one that talks about the Voting Rights Act, and a few of the events that are linked to that, such as the next event that I'm going to very briefly talk about, Selma. So the links for those videos are in the description below, so if you're struggling, if you're confused about the difference between the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Rights Act or how they come about, then watch those videos. There's some information about them in those. Right, Selma next. Selma, the events in Selma take place in March 1965, so the first march that ends in violent put down by the police, followed by the second more successful march, and all the events surrounding that take place in March 1965. Selma March, March 1965, quite an easy way of remembering it. In August 1965, and linked to the Selma March, is the Voting Rights Act of 1965, put forward by President Lyndon Johnson. So August 1965, Voting Rights Act is signed. Again, as I say, there's some information about that in the video below. Next, moving on a year, we have the setting up of the Black Panther Party, October 1966. Black Panther Party, who we looked at towards the end of the course. Again, have a look through your book for your notes on those. 2 years later, Martin Luther King assassinated, 4th of April 1968. Okay, another key event, the death of Martin Luther King. Following on from that, obviously after the death of Martin Luther King, as we've seen, it leads to a huge amount of riots and more violent attacks by African Americans on white people out of pure frustration that obviously 1, Martin Luther King has been killed, and 2, that there hasn't been that much progress, in their opinion anyway, with the civil rights movement. We end up with a very large riot, a very famous riot in August, between the 11th of August and the 17th of August 1968, in Los Angeles, in the Watts district of Los Angeles, the Watts riots taking place between the 11th and 17th of August 1968. Again, there'll be detail about that in your exercise book and the textbook. Final event, final key event that we have looked at, 1968 Olympics with Black Power. Remember John Carlos, Tommy Smith, 200 metre sprint. They stand and make the Black Power salute when they win their medals. Again, quite a key event in the civil rights movement. Right, I've flown through those. Again, this was just to put them into time order for your benefit. Again, if you're making your timeline, you can add those on. As I said before, if there's any of those events that don't ring any bells, or if you're a bit confused about, then make sure you're revising, look through your textbook, look through your exercise books. As I say, the videos, the links to the videos below for the Civil Rights Act video and the Voting Rights Act video, and the Selma March and other events surrounding those acts are below, so click on those if you need some help with either of those topics. I'll be making a few more videos over the next couple of months to help Year 11 with their revision, coming up to the key GCSE exams. Obviously, if you have any requests as well, I'll leave the comment section below open, so if you have any requests Year 11 for any videos to do with civil rights subject, or Germany, or World War I, or the Middle East, then please leave some requests below and I'll see if I can get one of those up in the near future. But other than that, keep revising, keep working hard, and I will see you soon.